Can you hear me? Oh, oh, Julie might have a went.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. It
Hi.
hasn't started yet. Has the meeting started?
No.
Okay.
Okay, welcome to the Charlottetown Water and Sewer Utility Committee meeting of Thursday, October the 20th, 2022. I'll call to order, and could I get the approval of agenda? Forwarded by Councillor Twill and second by, are you there, Councillor McCabe?
I am here. I can second that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we go to approval of the agenda. We did that. Declarations of conflict of interest. Do I see any?
Nope.
Seeing none. We'll go to the adoption of the minutes of Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. Could I have a mover and a seconder?
I can move that, Councillor Drawn.
Okay, moved by Councillor McCabe, second by Councillor Twill. Is there any business arising from those minutes?
Yes,
Okay. Do
78 on the prints. I noticed that sidewalks were replaced.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know if anyone's talking, but I can't hear.
Sorry. 78 upper prints. Richard, there's some work has been completed. Some work hasn't. Primarily the street now. It needs to be reinstated. Do you know when that rough cement will be removed and it'll be properly paved?
Yeah, so thank you. And again, so the sidewalk has been redone, their walkway has all been reinstated, and the piece left is the asphalt. District Heat has another repair they need to do on the street, and they're looking to combine the reinstatement. So there is there's concrete there now, a reasonable reinstatement. There is another piece of work that they would like to complete at the same time, and then they can have that all reinstated at once. But I will follow up with them. That was pre-Fiona, and there's been a few changes in the last few weeks. But I'll touch
I
base
understand that. Richard, is it possible to get a time frame?
Yes, I'll follow up with them and find out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Okay, that was the only business arising from the minutes. Well, welcome, Councillor Bernard. And we'll move into reports, but maybe, Richard, you can introduce your counterpart here today that I got to meet him at first, so in case for the other councillors that never met him yet, it'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson Durong. So I'm pleased to welcome Joshua McGinnis. He's the Assistant Manager of the Charlottetown Water and Sewer Utility as of this Monday. So he's very new with us, but already learning lots about the utility and will be a great asset for us as we move forward. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank this Water and Sewer Committee for all their support over the years. And I want you to recognize how much I appreciate that, and it really shone through our Fiona experience. The Water and Sewer Utility, I'm very proud of the work that the utility was able to accomplish with your support. Most of PEI was left without electricity, but no resident in Charlottetown was without water as long as they were connected to our system. And kind of on that piece, I did get a call or two during our recovery with people who have their own wells looking to get connected to our system. So, I mean, the support that you've given to the utility over the years, I know that's often a lot of money that you see going through the utility, but that money is very well spent. This would have been a different disaster for the city of Charlottetown if we hadn't been able to maintain water and wastewater services in the city. And there were residents who thanked me coming from outside of Charlottetown in and getting water from their friends and neighbors within the city. So it really was thanks to your support of the utility that we were able to maintain water supply and wastewater services in the city. So I greatly appreciate the support that you've given to the utility that helps us to maintain those services during disasters like Fiona.
Well, thank you, Richard. That was an awesome comment. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. One thing about the Water and Sewer Department, it's very effective, communicates well with the residents. I think that's important. I know when I send emails, the department whether it's yourself or Mike Piggott, do provide emails, very detailed and very, very well thought out, and respond, to my mind, in a manner in which it gives the resident a lot to think about. I know that situation down on Bayfield Street was, it was very troublesome regarding lead pipes. So that explanation that was done by Mike Pickett was probably one of the best responses I've ever seen. And that means a lot to me, because the more information the residents have, the better. So I certainly appreciate that. So, yeah, that was one of the things that shone through during this whole aftermath of the storm, is that the water and sewer services prevailed. So that's a credit to the department and your leadership.
Yeah, go right ahead, Terry. Councillor Bernard?
Just, thank you for those comments, Richard. Other than the generators, Richard, can you give me an idea what the staff had to go through to keep the water supply going, keep the sewer online?
Absolutely. And you're right. It was a great effort. So the first thing that we did is we filled up all of our generator diesel tanks prior to the storm. In anticipation, we figured maybe we could go a few hours without electricity, but it turned into days. So the next effort, as it became days and into weeks that we were running on our own diesel generators, the next thing became fuel supply. So it became a challenge for us to source that diesel and get it to our stations. And again, kudos to the staff within the utility reaching out to everyone they could and making all those connections to ensure that diesel did get to our stations. And we had some stations where there were trees across our roads and they had to find alternate paths into the diesel tanks to get diesel into the tanks to keep feeding our generators. But also kudos to Maritime Electric. We worked hand in hand with Maritime Electric to have them recognize that getting their supply back to our water system was a priority, and they did within a number of days. They were making sure that they were included in their prioritization to make sure that water kept coming into the city. So very much the two utilities working hand in hand and helping one another out. Further to that, as Maritime Electric was putting new poles in the ground, we needed to be there to make sure that they weren't putting a pole down through one of our water mains, which would have caused problems. So again, great work between the two utilities, Maritime Electric and the water and sewer utility. There's a great history of collaboration there, and it really shone through this disaster recovery. So to the credit of all those, the Maritime Electric crews, our own water and sewer utility crews, there were no incidents with all those new poles that went in the ground. None of our infrastructure was damaged.
No, it seems like, and again, pretty proud to hear how well things went. But the common theme seems to be that everyone dug in to work together as a team to make things happen, and to put any differences aside, and they all work together for the common good and get the power back on, and in this case, keeping the water and sewer. So thank you for that, Richard, and just kind of gives you an idea what kind of work the team had to go through. But that's one of the things we're seeing all through the city, is how well everybody came together and worked together. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if there's, you want to speak on something, Councillor Twill?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, is it possible to add one item to the agenda?
A little late for that.
Pardon me?
I think you're a little late for that. You already approved the agenda?
Yeah, but you can still add. That'd be up to the committee, would it, or if I can add in addition to the agenda?
Sure. What did you want to discuss,
I
Councillor
want to
Twill?
talk about Queen Street, the infrastructure in Queen Street.
I think we talked about that last meeting. You brought it up about the low level.
Well, low level, and I guess what I wanted to talk about, Richard, is two things. One is, the city's very much aware of the challenge down in this section of the city, section of Queen Street, and, pardon me?
Well-
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. I move that we put it on the agenda.
I don't know. We already talked about this, Councillor Twill.
Yeah, I understand that, but
I know.
it's a major concern for the people down in that community.
It's supposed to be on the agenda
Pardon me?
It's supposed to be on the agenda when it goes out to the public.
Yeah, but you can always add to the agenda. That's not a new phenomenon, Councillor Bernard.
It should be probably on the agenda. Yeah, 'cause
Okay,
it's
so you don't want to discuss it. Okay, I'll tell the people in
Well,
Queen
already
Street you
did-
don't want to
we
discuss
discussed
it.
though, right?
Pardon me?
Did we
No,
already
I'll just
discuss
tell them I wanted to bring it up. You didn't want to discuss it. Good enough.
it?
Councillor Duran, maybe perhaps because it was discussed at our last water and sewer meeting, that Councillor Tweel could get an update that he could share with his residents from Richard. I mean, I don't know if there'd be much more to discuss since our last meeting, but maybe just an update between him and the manager after the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor McCabe. Is that okay, Councillor Twill? Get an update?
That work for you?
Discuss with the manager afterwards?
Yeah,
Is
we'll
that what
get
you're saying?
get an update.
Or give an update?
An update?
Update.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. That's why I
Okay.
wanted it on the
Okay.
agenda.
Can you give an update quick, Richard? Would that be possible? Thank you.
Absolutely. So again, this is the Water and Sewer Committee. So just to recognize all the work that has been done by the water and sewer utility in that area, we used to have a combined sewer through that area, and we've spent nearly $20 million to separate the sewer so that now when there is flooding in that area, it does not contain raw sewage, that it is only a stormwater event. So I think it's important to recognize all the work that the water and sewer utility has completed in that area. There's now a new lift station and a new separated system, multi-million-dollar project to improve the safety in that area. Also important to recognize that that is a low point in the city. That will be a significant challenge for us going today already. I mean, the reason there is flooding there is that it's only a couple of meters above sea level. So there's no place for water to go when we do have significant rainfall events. There's a physical, geographical challenge in that area that will take further review into the future.
Thank you for your response. Regarding the sewer separation, the sanitary sewer, that was one of the projects that was completed, say, 4 years ago, maybe longer. And I think it was money that was well spent. And you're accurate. You don't have, raw sewage on the streets of Charlottetown, particularly down in this particular community. However, it's still a major concern. And the reason why I'm going to keep bringing it up is that we've got to come up with a solution, a viable solution to be able to move that water along, even though it's at a low point. And Richard, as an engineer, from an engineering perspective, I'm sure this is not something new to other jurisdictions, whether it be in North America or anywhere else in the world. So there's got to be a way to move that water. There's got to be some kind of a mechanism, some kind of methodology, or whatever the case may be, to alleviate the rising water in that section because people's properties are being ruined. And every time there's a threat of a rain event, people have a tremendous amount of anxiety, fear, and it's something that, they're overwhelmed with. And they really are.
Thank
And
you,
that's-
Councillor Twill. I know when we discussed this last time, the manager agreed to look into that moving forward. So
can we come
you
up
bring
with
it up at every meeting, and he does acknowledge it, and I thank you for bringing it up. It is a bad area, but he's agreed to look at that moving forward to come up with some type of plan. So I think
Please, Richard.
that's great.
Okay,
Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Councillor Twill.
thank you.
And we'll move on to reports. Manager Richard McEwen.
Thank you. So we have received a request from a resident from someone who lives outside the city of Charlottetown. And as per our practice, that requires approval of city council in order to have them connect to our water service. So again, this is a location on Brackley Point Road. A number of her neighbors have already connected to the water and sewer service, and she recognizes the value of that and has put forward a request to us to provide a water service to 471 Brackley Point Road. So the line runs through her community. Really, the water that supplies the city of Charlottetown comes from her community, and her well is failing, and she's looking to seek permission from the city of Charlottetown to connect to our system.
Sure, thank you. Would you like to speak on that, Councillor Twill?
Yes, is that just normal procedure, Richard, where someone wants to connect, or does that require a motion or resolution of council?
So we developed a policy a number of years ago where it requires a resolution of council.
Well, thank you. If there's any discussion on this, Councillor McCabe or Councillor Bernard?
I'm okay with moving that resolution forward.
Okay.
And I'm okay also. This is the procedure we've always followed. When there's an application from outside the city, it comes to this committee and a recommendation is made.
Perfect. Moved by Councillor McCabe, second by Councillor Bernard. We'll move it on up to council for a vote. That'd be great. Thank you. Now, I guess we're moving on to the motion to move into a closed session. As per section 119.1 subsection E of the PEI Municipal Government Act.
Am I going to be able to stay on for the close, or will I be disconnected?
Yes, you will, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move into a closed session if that's all right. Thank you very much.